Let's talk New York Mets baseball. The boys were back in Citi Field last night. It was a great game. They avoided being swept by the Nationals. I'm happy for that. If you're a Mets fan, I'm sure you're happy about that as well. They did win this final game, the third game of the series, 9-8, in an electrifying back and forth game. It was a great game to watch. It was good baseball. And I'm happy that the boys are going to see Atlanta. Atlanta is coming to see the boys, and they did not get swept. They would probably be in a pretty bad mood about that, but they were able to pull it off. So we're good to go. Let's take a look at this game, man. Joey Lucchesi got the start. I was hoping that he'd have another blowout performance, but that really wasn't the case. He struggled a little bit early to kind of find his own or whatnot, walked a couple of batters, but he settled in a little bit. He ended up pitching 5.1 innings. He had 5 hits on him, 2 walks, 3 runs, and a homer hit on him. His ERA is now 2.19. Not the worst, but wasn't really his best performance. But I'm happy for him. I'm glad that he's up there, and hopefully he'll continue to settle in or whatnot. Wasn't as great as his first start, but it is what it is. Brett Baty had a phenomenal night. He went 3 for 3. He hit his first home run of the season. We know that. It was a very offensive game last night. Nail biter, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. It was great. First inning, Joey Lucchesi, like I said, he walked a couple of batters, had a rough start, but he was able to get out of it with not much damage. No scoring first inning. Second inning is when the Mets got it going. McNeil and Vogelback both singled. Canna drove in McNeil on a sacrifice fly, and that put the Mets up 1-0. Baty had his first hit of the evening in that second inning. Top of the third, this is where Lucchesi had a little bit of trouble, ran into that home run. Alex Call, he homered on him. He tied the ball game up 1-1. Lucchesi threw a sinker down and away, and Call did just enough to get it over the wall. It wasn't really a deep monster home run. It just kind of edged over the wall just a little bit, but it was a homer nonetheless. So tie ball game 1-1. Fourth, Lucchesi got in there, 1-2-3 inning. He was in and out of there, no problems. Bottom of the fourth, this is where the Mets broke out a little bit. Brett Baty hit his first home run of the season. Mets went up 2-1. Alvarez and Nimmo go on to single after that, and then Marte walks. Then Lindor steps up to the plate. Lindor was leading the team in strikeouts, but he got his bat working a little bit yesterday evening. I'm happy about that. He steps up to the plate. He hits a double. He drives in Alvarez and Nimmo. Mets are now up 4-1. Fifth inning, not too much happening. Canna and Baty, both hit singles, but ultimately it was pretty much just a scoreless inning. Another hit for Baty. Sixth inning, let's go into the sixth. After 2 hits, both singles on Lucchesi, Buck had enough. He saw enough. He brings in Tommy Hunter. The Nats immediately hit 2 singles off of Hunter and drive in another run. Score is now 4-2 Mets. Victor Robles of the Nets gets up next, grounds into a force out to Baty, and another run is pushed in by him. It's now 4-3 to Mets. We go into the bottom of the sixth. The Mets strike back. Nimmo hits a single. Then Lindor hits another double, driving in Nimmo. It's 5-3 Mets. Pete Alonso gets up, singles to left field. Lindor scores. It's now 6-3 Mets. Mets put up one more run with Vogelback hitting a single to center field that drove in Alonso, and then the score went up to 7-3 Mets. By the bottom of the sixth, it was 7-3 Mets. The seventh inning was pretty much a quiet inning, and the eighth inning is where things really got interesting, that's where I said it was a nail biter. That's where I really started biting my nails. I got a little bit nervous. But let's go into the eighth. Tommy Hunter, he's still on the mound. He came in and he replaced Lucchesi. Tommy Hunter goes on to hit 2 batters. So that wasn't good. Got 2 runners on base now. Stone Garrett reaches base by an error by Lindor. If you watched the game, you saw Lindor. He had scooped the ball up, and then he tried to transfer it to his throwing hand or whatnot, and then missed the ball and dropped the ball. That's another bobbled play for him. He bobbled another one the game before, game 2. But, it is what it is. Buck had seen enough of Hunter at this point. That was enough for him. He had saw enough. Hunter didn't really do too much. He was in for 1.2 innings. He had 2 hits on him with 3 runs scored. His ERA it's up there, 7.88 ERA. Like I said, at this point, Buck had saw enough, and then he brings in Brooks Raley. The next batter is Luis Garcia. Luis Garcia sends in a run on a sacrifice fly. It's now 7-4 Mets. They're still up. Next, Victor Robles is hit by Brooks Raley. Bases are now loaded, and the unthinkable happens. C.J. Abrams hits a grand slam, bringing the score to 8-7 Nats. At this point, my jaw was on the ground. I couldn't believe it. I thought the game was over. I thought that the boys were going to just fold after this, but I'm proud of them. They absolutely did not. They came back in the bottom of the 8th inning, and they took right back over, and they got the win. They struck right back. Marte hit a single. Then he stole second base. Good job for him. He's now in scoring position. Lindor gets up, flies out to center field. After that flyout, Marte advances to third. Pete Alonso gets up the plate, wasn't nervous about the situation at all, hits a double, drives in Marte. The score is now tied again at 8-8. We got ourselves a ball game. To top it off, Jeff McNeil, old reliable himself, he's been hitting like a monster lately. When he's up to bat, I mean, that's damn near a guaranteed, on-base appearance for him. He hits a triple. That triple drives in Alonso. It's 9-8. That's all she wrote. Game over, Mets. It was a great game. Fun to watch. Like I said before, I'm glad that the boys didn't get swept. Ninth inning came around, and David Robertson came in, and he did what he does. He pitched that 1 inning. He had 2 strikeouts, no hits, no runs, nothing. 0.79 ERA. Robertson is a monster, man. Happy for him. I want him to continue that. He might be our savior while Diaz is out. If Diaz was in, boy, him and those two together would be a force. Unfortunately, we'll have to wait for that, but we'll see. In all honesty, I don't think they should have this hard of a time with a team like the Nats. The team, I think they're in last place or something like that. At least they were last time I checked. And they really shouldn't be having that hard of a time with a team like this. But they did. Hopefully this doesn't, it's not showing what the Mets will ultimately be like throughout the season or whatnot. They're coming up to face a tough team in the Braves. The Braves are 17-9. The Mets are 15-11. They're right behind the Braves. They're still number 2. Braves are number 1 in the NL East. So they've got a tough team that they've got to face tonight, and hopefully they get it together and continue to play the way that they played yesterday, because we're absolutely going to need it. That game is tonight at Citi Field at 7:10 p.m. It's a 4-game dance. And in order to get through it, they're going to have to play well. We're going to need everybody to keep doing what they were doing. Beatty, Lindor stepped up a little bit. Marte got up there. Vogel back at him and hit. I mean, it was a good showing. Alonso, McNeil, those guys really showed out last night, and hopefully they continue to do that. And they don't let the Braves come in and cause a problem. Until then, hey, let's go Mets.